home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Off will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloff.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
T-O-double-D, what's cracking?
I need your help, Snoop. I'm really sick, and I can't give up free chicken fingers on National Chicken Finger Day.
I got you. Yo, happy National Chicken Finger Day, homies and homegirls. Get you a free chicken finger with your Raising Cane's box combo on $7.27, you heard? Make it a perfect combo with a copy of my latest album, Is It a Crime? Streaming now. Happy National Chicken Finger Day to all, and to all a good bite.
Get one free chicken finger in each box combo. Purchase July 27th, 2025.
Is it time to replace your home comfort system? Call Bryant and save money in every way. Bryant provides you with solutions that save. Save big immediately with attractive rebates. And save every day with lower operating costs. Most important, though, the systems are selected to fit you. The right system, priced right, properly installed. That's the way Bryant works for you. How much can you save? Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing for a free estimate. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce is complicated. It affects every part of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. 1221 N Street, Lincoln. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
Mike, I've been thinking, our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Hi, folks. The weather is for sure heating up, and Koppel Chevrolet GMC is following suit. The discounts are really as good as they've ever been. $14,500 off list price, or 0% financing on select new models. Folks, you heard that right. Smoking hot deals at Koppel. $14,500 off list price, or 0% APR. So take that short drive down 144th Street or at koppelcars.com. STK number G269520. All deals with trade-in and approved credit.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
On the block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Hey, I don't want to hate on Joe Burrow. He's clearly in this tier. I think he's the bottom of this tier. I would go Alan Jackson and then Burrow.
You should be a politician.
You know what I'm saying? You see what he doing?
Yeah, he didn't have
He's doing it all the time. It's tricky, man.
Keep going, Jay.
No,
You're speaking my language.
Stop.
You're speaking my language. Come on.
You didn't let him get to you, Jay. I can't believe you let him get you again. God, dang.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
The police just pulled me over and said papers. I said scissors. I win. And drove off. But I think he wants a rematch because he's been chasing me for 45 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket, the show that gives you unique insight, unbridled honesty, and producer Jake and I have a whole lot of fun in the process. All right, you know what you're going to get. Grab your lunch. Come join us. You're going to hear Husker sports, college football, and sports in general. Loaded show today. Heinrich Haarberg. Kind of flown under the radar a little bit throughout this offseason. Major talk last year, obviously. Being in that quarterback room, what can we do with him? How can we utilize him? He's just a football player. How do we get him on the field more? He's a guy who has the type of potential to play on Sundays, moving to that tight end position. I personally think he's going to flourish at the tight end position. Now, what exactly does that look like? Obviously, Luke Lindenmeyer is a projected starter going into the season. Expect him to play well, do some things well. I almost feel like Haarberg and Lindenmeyer are very complimentary of each other. And that's part of the reason why I think this is going to work. Hopefully, I was about to say so well, but hopefully well to so well to very well. But we'll see. We'll discuss that. Also, Emmett Johnson. This is a guy who since his freshman year, when he was 4th-string going into the season, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4th-string going into the season. Then the last half of the season, he was our starting running back and played well. Then last year, did not start. There was a game or two where he didn't even touch the ball. I said, hey, I think he's our best running back. Why doesn't he at least get the ball sometimes if he doesn't at least start or play more often? Then Holgerson comes in, bam, all of a sudden Emmett Johnson takes off, his stats take off. He's the projected starter going into this upcoming football season. I believe he's going to shine. There is one concern that I mean, there's more than one, but one main concern. Anytime you're looking and projecting a football team, football player, whatever, there's always more than one thing to look at. There's one concern I have. I don't think I'm going to shock you with it, but I do think he's going to shine this year for multiple reasons. And I'm going to dive into that just a little bit, all right, throughout the course of the next 2 hours. Just a reminder, hour 1 of the Adam Carriker Show here on The Ticket is sponsored by our good friends at Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Learn more about their residential and business services at hamiltontel.com. That's hamiltontel.com. All right, Jake, how was your weekend? Anything newsworthy happening? What's going on in the Bakovin household?
I don't know about too much newsworthy, but I had a good weekend. It was my mom's birthday, so we had a party over there. So that was a lot of fun. You'll notice I'm not wearing gold today. I did not win in the Cornhusker State games. I even had an old guy moment where I was getting back on defense and fell down for no apparent reason. But still had some fun. The Cornhusker State game's a lot of fun, so it was cool to get out there and play it.
I was going to get to the Cornhusker State games. Did you at least finish? Did you make the championship game? I mean, what happened there? Are you LeBron or MJ? What's going on here?
No, it really makes me value the fact that we went and got the bronze last year, which obviously the goal is gold, so that's what we're kind of pushing for. But it is a 2-day tournament. We did not make it to the second day. I'll just put it that way.
So you let your team down. Is that what I'm hearing?
I let the team down.
It happens. It happens. You know what you do? You learn. You watch the film. You grade yourself. You hit the weight room. You grind. You come back ready for next year. Are those your plans going into next year's Cornhusker State games, or are you going to sit on the couch and make sure you're hydrated for an entire year instead?
Well, I'll hopefully get better. I was thinking about just coming in and saying no comment. I'm thinking, you know what? I better at least face the music. I can't just be celebrating when we're winning. I also have to acknowledge the loss.
No comment would have been great. I'm just here so I won't get fined. Jake, we're not going to fine you. Well, why am I here then? I don't. All right, we got a whole bunch of other things to talk about as well today. I don't know if you heard this, Jake, but the University of Minnesota students will pay a new $200 athletics fee this year, even if they never don a Gophers football helmet or attend a single game. The Twin Cities campus, for the first time, has added a $100 per semester fee to offset the substantial price tag for paying student athletes to pay on the Gophers teams. Even so, the athletics budget is $8.75 million short, though University of Minnesota officials say they're hopeful they can close the gap. Now, there's more here. Like, the new fees are drawing ire from the student government leaders and come at the same time as a significant tuition increase of 6.5% for in-state undergraduates and 7.5% for out-of-state undergraduates this fall. What's your reaction to this? I could tell you'd not heard about this. What's your reaction to this? They are now basically taxing students. I'm going to use the word tax. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
They're taxing students to raise more money to pay for athletes and athletics. What are your thoughts on that? What's your reaction to that?
Don't love it. I mean, obviously, as a sports fan, I could do that if I did go to the university. If they did that, I wouldn't be too upset. But there's plenty of people that aren't necessarily sports fans. Then the other thing is, now you're kind of holding yourself accountable. Like, hey, I paid for this. Why aren't we getting any better? And that sort of thing. So it really falls into the fact that college costs are too high to begin with. And now you're kind of throwing in an additional one to support NIL for athletes. Man, that's tough. That's tough for anybody going to the University of Minnesota. It also makes you, thankful that Nebraska's athletic department is not in the red and that it's doing well. And you don't have to go on these outside things. It's weird because I've seen Minnesota even have opportunities where you buy one, $10 pizza, take home pizza, you get 2 tickets. So they've got to find some different ways to get people even in the building. And now you're just charging everybody. Tough look. PJ Fleck's going to have to face the music at Big Ten Media Days.
Ooh. You think DP will interview Mr. Ankles now? Will ask him about the tuition or the taxes that the students now have to pay?
I wish, but I don't know if that'll make the difference.
Did you hear the story? So we were down at Blur for the College World Series, and DP was doing the show with me. I think Nick was doing it that particular day. Were you there that day, or was it Nick? Was it you?
Well, I don't know. I was either there
Nick.
or at the board, so I remember.
So you heard the story, though, about how PJ Fleck walked by our booth last year at Big Ten Media Days, stared right at us. Like, his eyes were begging to be interviewed. I'm not even making this up. Like, eyes begging to be interviewed. DP just stared back at him, chill, didn't say a word, refused to interview the head coach of Minnesota. And I asked DP about it that day. Basically, not a big fan. I'll make the long story very short. Not a big fan. DP proceeded to point out that he wears dress shoes and with no socks and pants that are too short. So all you see is his ankles. We dubbed him Mr. Ankles and all that good stuff. I think you've got to interview him now. You've got to, just for this question alone, he's gonna be asked when he goes up front on stage anyways. But it's interesting. The PJ, just because, it's easy to poke fun at PJ Fleck. I was going to dub it the PJ Fleck effect, but I don't know if it's directly his fault, but it's just fun to do these things and insinuate certain things when it comes to certain people because you just like to poke fun at certain people. Honestly, he's had success at Minnesota. Can't hate on that. Just signed an extension, a brand new contract. They clearly like him up there. I did quickly just Google. All right. Cost of attendance on average to go to the University of Minnesota. So tuition and fees, $18,000. Books and supplies, $1,000. Housing and food, $6,200. Transportation, $200. So about the same as, we'll call it the college sports tax or whatever we want to call it. Personal miscellaneous, $2,000. Now that's obviously going to vary from student to student. All right. Loan fee, $158. So it comes out an average, okay, of $1,824 if you are living off campus to go to the University of Minnesota, or a total of $28,184. Now, let me play devil's advocate a little bit. Now, it depends. If you're a residence, residence hall or apartment, it goes up to $36,000 because obviously You're going to pay for the housing included there as well. So let me play devil's advocate here. Because I'm not personally a fan of forcing students to pay something in addition to what they're already paying. A lot of college students don't have a ton of money. Okay, you're taking out, like my sister took out loans, and she took a 30-year loan out. The interest does not get smaller as time goes on. I'll just put it that way. As a lot of people are in that position, and it's tough. When you think about $28,000, or if you're on campus, $36,656. Let me just throw this out there to play devil's advocate. If you've got however many thousands of students they have at Minnesota, it's $200 a year for a student. It's not a ton, but when you add that up per student, that can make a gargantuan contribution to the university, to the number one thing that's making money for the university. And you could argue it comes back to the students in the end because they have more money to do things at the university. Or am I just trying to play devil's advocate? You don't see where I'm not even saying, I actually am not a fan of this. I'm just saying, I always try to look at both sides of the coin. Does it make sense when I try to look at the other side of the coin? Or you're just like, nah, I don't buy into that at all. Where you at on this, Jake?
Well, I mean, again, business is business, but you understand if you're operating in the red, there can be that could be a deal there. But you also have to keep in mind these athletic departments aren't necessarily their goal. I mean, you can't run under the red, for 15 years and still have a company, right? The goal is not always to make a whole lot of money in the athletic department, because then you're not going to get grants and funding from the university altogether from the state. So it's kind of interesting the way that you look at it, but clearly they're not in a good spot. I know they don't feel like this is probably a good look, just something that they have to do in the new age of college sports. I can see the devil advocate side of it. I can see why it's in play. And like you said, I mean, $200 a semester, I'm assuming, is,
for the year.
For the year, okay.
100 per semester.
All right, well, that's good enough. It's not a whole lot. And really, when you're talking about what I don't like is when you're talking about the numbers, when you're like, well, it's either 36,000 or 36,200. Well, then you're like, well, then it doesn't really matter. You just throw it on there. But like you said, $200 could be a lot to a college student, at least enough to do something a little bit more, maybe eat a little bit better in those months.
To me, it's interesting because this is something I could actually see gaining traction. I could actually see other universities, hey, that's a way we can make, and I don't know how much more money exactly they're going to get from this. I would imagine it's a pretty penny. It's a nice chunk of change. And they could be like, hey, that's a real easy, quick way. I don't think it's going to stop anybody from going to the university if you look at it from their perspective. Like you and me being big WWE fans, there's fans out there that complain about the WWE all the time. But you know what those fans do? They also still tune in. They can't complain if they don't tune in, but they're still going to tune in. They might say, oh, people might be unhappy. 5 years from now, it'll be accepted in the norm. And in the meantime, it probably won't turn anybody away. And from a business point of view, just speaking business point of view, because this is business. It's college athletics has always been business. It's just now more front and center than it's ever been and more obvious. And it's a little less, I don't want to say hidden, but discreet, or however you want to put it. From a business point of view, they're like, it's an easy way to make more money, to pay our athletes, to help improve our teams. And we really don't think we're going to lose anybody because of it, even though some people may not like it. And from a business point of view, I could actually see it gaining traction because everywhere we look, Nebraska, other universities, when people would bring up paying athletes for years, should we pay athletes? Should we pay college athletes? I don't think a lot of folks, including myself, to be honest with you, understood the ricochet effect that would have. All the way down to now there's all of a sudden, we just kind of made this up, this college student $200 a year tax for University of Minnesota students. I don't think anyone foresaw that happening. So the chain of reaction, the butterfly effect, the ricochet effect that happens, it's a little bit surprising, but it is part of doing business. And to be clear, I do think student athletes should be paid. I'm not saying that they shouldn't or this is their fault or anything like that. This is just part of the business now that is college athletics. So a little bit more from this article. Riley Hetland and Ethan Fiegel, I sure hope I'm pronouncing that somewhat close. The president and vice president of the University of Minnesota's undergraduate student government sent a statement that, and I quote, while we acknowledge the student athletes deserve fair compensation for the amazing work they do, Gopher Athletics already generates revenue from students through voluntary contributions in the form of tickets and merchandise sales. Students should not be forced to pay an additional fee on top of this, they said. All right, let's see here. Mark Coyle, the University of Minnesota's athletic director, said in an interview this week that the fee is not uncommon among other institutions and helps maintain athletic facilities used by the student body as well. All right, it should be mentioned, Tennessee did this last year, which is similar to what they're doing up at Minnesota. So Minnesota's not the first one to technically be doing this. And I do think this is something that's going to catch on. All right, but let's read on a little bit here, because they did mention it helps pay for, I don't know if you want to call it the rec center or the student where students go and play sports and work out and do things as well. All right, paying student athletes a full $20.5 million will make up 12% of the University of Minnesota's $174.2 million athletic budget for 2026, more than the cost of scholarships, maintaining facilities, or paying down debt. The nearly $9 million shortfall is after the new student fees are accounted for. They are expected to bring up $7 million. This is an increased revenue of $7 million. So he doesn't have an issue with student athletes being paid. The president here that spoke, they gave the quote. It's that it's not optional. So I have two questions. If it were optional, would you feel differently? Also, sometimes, like if you say something is worth $5, they're going to give you $5, but they're not going to give you $5 and 1 penny. But if you just say, hey, there's this thing, donate whatever you'd like, you'll get that person that gives $2, $3, $1, and then you get that person that donates $500. And all of a sudden, in the end, you could argue you made more just by, hey, whatever you want to give. So is it the mandatory versus optional part that you're not crazy about? And again, I do see other universities buying into this. I do see 5 years from now this being the norm, and nobody's even going to think twice about it, because right now it's new and it's different, so it's newsworthy. And do you think they'd actually make more if it wasn't like a mandatory $200 and they almost said, hey, donate, if you're going to be a student or you're the parent of a student or whatever the case may be, donate towards the NIL fund for our athletics department? Do you actually think they'd get more money through voluntary donations?
They might. I mean, I think, but to get into that, you're kind of just going again toward your wealthy donors or people that are interested. If you're college, I would think more often than not, most people are looking at the bottom line thinking, all right, that's already 34,000 or whatever.
Yep,
so
36.
I don't know how much more you would be wanting to give. It's just ultimately, again, it's a blend of what this is. And it's kind of interesting to watch it all play out, because as we know, college sports, football specifically, is going into kind of more of the pro sports realm, and it's still on campus. And so we're going to have these kind of semi-pro athletes going to campus and going to college and all that sort of stuff like we have traditionally. It's not a big change, but it's how does it start to affect everything else? And that's where we are now, right? Where the everyday college student is going to have to pay more, and they're going to have to think that they, hopefully they think that they get their entertainment value. But if you think about it just like as in $200, I wonder how much season tickets are. You know what I mean? Like you're almost kind of thinking, well, am I now in kind of the category I've already paid? Shouldn't I be allowed to go watch these games then if I'm a student? So I don't know. It is fascinating to see how all of this kind of plays out again. And I've always kind of thought when you're kind of moving the the college sports into the professional model, that it is almost just kind of grandfathered in with the colleges, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to be in that, kind of all blended together. But there's so much money obviously involved that nobody's going to want to step away from it. So it's just kind of fascinating to see the idea and the shift in perception in going to college is now hopefully, or I shouldn't say hopefully, it's going to have to change into, okay, part of what I'm paying for is the sports entertainment of having these big time athletes at our school. But again, are you getting better or bigger athletes at Minnesota since the change? Is the team performing better? And, in Minnesota specifically, I wouldn't say necessarily one way or the other. They've been a solid program under PJ Fleck, like we've said this whole time. But I don't know if you feel like you're getting that money back in return. So, I mean, I don't know. Different people have different thoughts on it. $200, on a big chunk of change that's already going to cost you isn't going to be that much more. But that's where, I mean, I would think that NIL should be optional, right? If you're going to pay for it, if you're a student. And again, there's just so many people that go that could care less about sports. They're going to be really frustrated about it.
I think that's a fair point. You mentioned it earlier. You brought it up again. For someone like let's say I didn't go to college and I didn't play a sport. Okay, I was done after high school and I went as a student. Like, I'm still a sports guy. I talk sports like a lot every week, as people know. Like, I'm still a sports guy. For me, I'd be like, cool, I'm doing my part to help the team. You know, I could see some people I know, maybe not a ton, being like, what more can I do? There's some people I know that, why do I have to contribute towards? Keep in mind, I'm said Neanderthal. Why do I have to contribute towards those Neanderthals? You know, some people would not be happy about it at all because they don't care about sports. Or maybe they like a particular sport, but they know the majority of money goes to football, and they're like, I'm not a football fan. Like, I'm not interested in this, you know? So I could see some people feeling that way about things. As to your point, like, I'm not a sports fan. So I am paying something towards something that I'm not that interested in. It's interesting because I'm actually kind of curious every time we turn around. And again, I'm not faulting anybody. I'm not faulting the ADs. I'm not faulting the universities, student athletes. No problem with them getting paid. It is what has been created when we open the door of now we're going to pay student athletes. And now we're going to pay some of them more than NFL athletes. Okay. Well, that money doesn't just grow on trees, as the old saying goes. Like, where's that money come from? So I'm kind of curious to see what athletic directors or universities, conferences do across the country to try to continue to generate more revenue in order to keep paying their athletes. Because if you think about it, athletes' contracts over time, they're going to continue to grow just like pro contracts. So if they're going to continue to grow and the amount's probably going to grow, like, how do you continue to keep up with that? I don't know how else to put it, the inflation of paying and paying over time and the increased cost that comes with paying athletes over time. Because you look at pro athletes' contracts now in the NFL versus 10 years ago, there's a difference. Versus 10 years before that, 20 years ago, there's an insane difference. So I'm just kind of curious to see what types of different ways, like we're selling beer in the stadium and things like that now. And, there's all sorts of different ways to try to generate revenue and money. I'm curious to see what other ways, what other unique ways they'll come up with. This is not one that would have occurred to me. So to me, I'm kind of curious to see what other ways they might come up with to try to keep up with the cost of doing college sports business now.
Well, that, and I just, like you said, the $20 million doesn't grow on trees. You got to find a way to kind of get it. But I mean, I think that's going to be the general reaction is, as a student, you're like, I'm paying, and we're already paying athletes $20 million, and part of that has to come from me. I mean, I think that sounds pretty frustrating in general. And then I just remember from going to the university, how many discussions are had between teachers because teachers get let go, certain facilities need to be upgraded. And I always hear it, little kind of whispers from across the hall at the time. Well, they don't have any problem paying the football coach, And so I think you're going to get kind of more of that, maybe more tension there. And then you got to think too, in this modern age, and this isn't this specifically, but we talk about players that maybe make more than their positional coaches or something, as you're talking about the rising and money being made. So sometimes it's like, all right, well, I make more than you or whatever. How much am I going to listen to you? How much does that affect the classroom? When you have a guy that's making more than his teacher, I mean, I think there are a lot of dynamics at play, unintended consequences, as we call them, when you just kind of throw a rule out there and now everybody's got to go with it. And now there's kind of those adjustments to those unintended consequences. And I think this is one of them.
That's an interesting thing you mentioned, because in the NFL, there's a lot of position players who make more than their position coaches. It's a little bit different in the aspect of, by the time you get to the NFL, you're typically in your early to mid 20s. You've had time to grow and mature at least a little bit. I'm not saying all us NFL players are mature. I'm 41 and I'm still not all that mature, if I'm being honest. I still don't know when I'm going to grow up, Jake. But when you're like coming out of high school, 17, 18, 19, I mean, we used to say, go to college a boy, come out a man, was the idea. That's an interesting dynamic at a much younger age and how that plays out and things of that nature. And the $20.5 million is the cap. But just remember, there's other ways that they're paying these athletes too, where there really is no cap outside of, said revenue sharing and caps. So it'll be an interesting thing to continue to follow. The cost of doing college sports business is now a story in of itself. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
It's never too late to start protecting your company's data from cyber attacks. Your customers put their trust in you to keep their information safe from online threats. Don't let them down. Partner with Hamilton Business Technologies to get real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and experts who monitor it all for you. We care about the success of your business and the communities you serve. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks. Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Coverage of Big Ten Media Days from the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, July 22nd through 24th on 93.7 The Ticket. Join Derek Pearson, Jay Foreman, Nick Sainert, and Austin Orman as they bring you exclusive conversations with Big Ten coaches, players, and sports media professionals while getting you ready for the upcoming college football season. Big Ten Media Days coverage is presented by Advanced Medical Imaging, Stevenson Smith Construction, Currency, Warhorse Casino, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and League One Volleyball.
Hi, folks. The weather is for sure heating up, and Coppell Chevrolet GMC is following suit. The discounts are really as good as they've ever been. $14,500 off list price, or 0% financing on select new models. Folks, you heard that right. Smoking hot deals at Coppell. $14,500 off list price, or 0% APR. So take that short drive down 144th Street or at koppelcars.com. STK number G269520. All deals with trade-in and approved credit.
This just in. Hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends July 31st.
See Home Club for details.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
T-O-double-D, what's cracking? I need your help, Snoot. I'm really sick, and I can't give up free chicken fingers on National Chicken Finger Day.
I got you. Yo, yo, yo. Happy National Chicken Finger Day, homies and homegirls. Get you a free chicken finger with your Raising Cane's box combo on $7.27, you heard? Make it a perfect combo with a copy of my latest album, Is It a Crime? Streaming now. Happy National Chicken Finger Day to all, and to all a good bite.
Get one free chicken finger in each box combo. Purchase July 27th, 2025.
Summertime is here, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? Your dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble it so it can look and perform its best. Visit their website, huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. All right, ladies and Carriker, to the Adam and Gentleman Show. All right, here on 93.7 The Ticket. This fine program, at least hopefully you enjoyed at least un poquito, a little bit of a bit. Hour one of the Adam Carriker Show is sponsored by our good friends at Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Learn more about their residential and business services at hamiltontel.com. Again, that's hamiltontel.com. Now, you mentioned we have a couple of responses off the text line, but I wanted to just quickly respond to something that you said. You know, every once in a while, if there's some changes that need to be made due to monetary restrictions, somebody might mention, hey, they don't have a problem paying the football coach, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that's a fair point. It's accurate. I've always said, like, regardless of whether I played sports in college or not, regardless of whether I was a football player or not, the number one moneymaker for a university is the football program. Depending on which university you are. I mean, but if you have a major football program, the extreme odds are your number one moneymaker is the football program. And so I think that gets factored in to, hey, what do we keep? What do we not? What do we invest most into? Like, what's going to give us the biggest return? Like, I sit here and I try to talk about as many sports as I possibly can, as many Husker sports as I possibly can. You know, at the end of the day, typically the money makers for most universities are football, basketball to some degree, depending on the university, or if you're Nebraska, volleyball. But you're going to put money back into the things that are going to make money for you as well. But what are some of the responses we've gotten off the text line there, Jake?
Yeah, go do a few. Ben says Minnesota bake sale coming soon.
I like that. That's good. I like that.
0078 says Minnesota needs to bring in Trev Alberts to balance that budget.
Ooh.
Hisbear says, I hate that money has become more important than the actual football being played. D-Train thinks more kids will start going to smaller schools. It is all getting out of hand. Schools at some point will start to crumble if they are already needing to scrape the bottom to make ends meet. Dave Braska says, when will the students get a refund if the team sucks, or will they get a dividend if the team does well? And then one final text here, 6320 says, as I said, NIL is out of control. It needs general standards that all schools follow, such as 3 or 4 tier pay scale. Stop these ridiculous $1 million deals going to a 17, 18-year-old kid. This would solve the universities needing to pander for more funds.
So as far as money back or dividends, I know that's more of a joke than something serious, or at least I assume it is. Maybe it's not. If it is a serious question, no and no. They're not going to give money back, and they're also not going to give a dividend. It's just a straight $200 fee, and we're going to give you the best product we can, hopefully. That's the way that's going to be, although that was probably more of a joke than anything else. But again, it's about business. There was some people that we knew. I'm going to be vague on all this. People that I was very close with. We bought farmland from them. Now, they wanted us to buy the farmland so that they could then rent the farmland from us and farm on it. Otherwise, they were going to lose it because they'd had the farmland for a long time. Otherwise, they were going to lose it. So it became, okay, do you just pay us straight rent? Or the more money you make, do we make more money? And do we actually get more involved in the day-to-day stuff? We were really, to be clear, there were some monetary benefits to us, or I'm not just going to make a bad business decision out of the... I'm not going to make a bad business decision out of the goodness of my heart. It depends, but that's not what this was. I was like, there's some monetary benefits to us. The ultimate monetary benefit would have been had we gotten more involved in the day-to-day, because then you get more return on your investment based on the money they make. What we did was just straight payment, because that was enough for us. We were trying to help them out. It was people we knew very, very well. So it's kind of similar in a way. Business, like if they're just getting, what is it, $200 a year, $100 a semester, the business end of that, they're really not going to want to share any of that in particular. You know what I mean? Like, it's a straight business deal as opposed to, trying to help somebody out. Does that kind of make sense? I know it's not the perfect parallels. That kind of makes sense. And what was the last comment there? There was one last comment at the end.
Just saying that they need general standards that allow schools to follow.
Yes. Preach, hallelujah, amen. And I do believe they're coming. I do believe they're coming because he mentioned they're already trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel. In other words, they're trying to find every way they can to make money, and some schools are still coming up short. Two things are going to happen to that. Number one, the top 40 to 50 schools at some point in the next half a decade or maybe a little bit longer, they're going to pull away and do their own thing because they can afford to do so and other schools can't. That's the number one thing that's going to eventually happen. In the meantime, they're going to say, we need to rein in the wild, wild west, and we need some parameters. And it's one of the reasons, in addition to other things that I hear, that I believe there's light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to sanity in the transfer portal, sanity in the NIL era, because this can't continue forever. This is something that if this continued, that it would bankrupt too many schools. It just would. They can't afford to do this long term. So parameters have to come into play in addition to the things that I already hear. So parameters will come into play. My question has been, I don't know how long that's going to be because they would be in play tomorrow, except you got some big people, like big wigs with a lot of money and a lot of sway and a lot of ego who are not interested in the general well-being of college football. They're interested in the general well-being of their conference or their university. And you have to get all these people to sign off on something that everyone has to agree on. Well, if I don't care if it benefits you, I'm looking out for my best interest because there is no central government or body or person in charge of college football. I'm allowed to do what's best for me, and you're doing what's best for you. And I feel pretty good about what I'm doing. You feel pretty good about what you're doing. It's hard to get those people on the same page. That's the holdup. That's why I don't know how long it's going to take. They all have one common thing in mind, is that at the end of the day, they need a healthy bottom line, and that is the one common thing they have. And so they will eventually come to an agreement at some point. Just all those barriers in the meantime, I don't know how long it's going to take. I do think eventually it's going to be the top 40 to 50 schools pull away and do their own thing. And it's going to look a lot like AFC, NFC, NFL model, so to speak. Instead of 32 teams, 40 to 50.
I think it's also interesting, as I was kind of thinking through it, is that I think it's too late to go back on the coaches' salaries, because that would be one thing. That's when you couldn't pay players. That was one thing that kind of started to balloon up. I can't remember what the exact number was, but Tom Osborne didn't make $1 million. It was a big deal when Steve Spurrier signed the first $1 million coach as, to be a college football head coach. And so, over the years, it was like, okay, how do we get this program better? Let's pump money into the coaching. Obviously you already do it with facilities and all that. But so that kind of ballooned to a point. But, you would think that perhaps if the money starts to go to the players, maybe it needs to come from somewhere, maybe it comes from the coaches. But I think it's too late for that. They're already at, an industry standard. And so I don't see that going anywhere.
No, they're not going to go back on something that they already have an expectation for. Like, that ain't going to happen. Once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you ain't putting it back in. I randomly came across this stat. So there are 16 teams in the Big 12 because, mathematical accuracy in a name doesn't mean anything. By the way, they're starting, they're starting to put sponsors' names within the titles of conferences here in the near future, which is another way of making money. All right. What two teams in the Big 12 have won a national championship? There's only 2 out of 16 in football. Who are they? And the second part of that is, what years are they that they won them? But let's start with who they are.
I think Oklahoma A&M won one as Oklahoma State back in like the 40s. Is that
Oklahoma A&M?
I think that's what it was called before. It's Oklahoma State.
No.
Okay, well, then I
was trying to come up with a clever response, and I was like,
I made all that up. Yeah, I made all that up.
Is that real or not?
I'd have to go back and look. Yeah, I was pretty confident in that, but
I'm going to look that up. What else you got there? What other guesses? Don't think too hard. It's not as hard as it's not as difficult as you might.
Are we
might
counting
think it is.
UCF's claimed national championship?
No, actual national titles, like
Okay.
real national titles, not claimed ones from 1908 or 2017. Whatever the case may be.
Boy, I'm trying to think through those schools.
So you've got like Arizona, Cincinnati, Kansas State, Arizona State, Colorado, Texas Tech, Baylor, Iowa State, Oklahoma A&M or State, depending on if you're Jake, Houston, UCF, BYU, TCU, Houston, Kansas, West Virginia.
All right, now that you name them out, I can remember because they are within our time of Colorado and BYU.
Nailed it. Yeah. You remember the years?
1990, my birth year for Colorado, unfortunately. And BYU was that 84?
It was 84. The reason I bring that up is like Nebraska, just us, we have 5 national titles. And you think about the amount that Ohio State, especially recently, has accumulated. And Michigan doesn't have a ton of national titles, okay? Shared one in 97, obviously 2023. I think it was 1947 beyond before that. And Penn State has 2. You look at the Big 12, and those are some schools that, while I think it's the most entertaining conference in the country to watch, I've dubbed it America's Conference in the past, because it's the parity and the close games and the entertainment that happens within those games. It's phenomenal to watch. But I look at a conference like the Big 12, and there's some dispute to that Colorado national championship. There was a co-national championship. All right. They also took 5 downs to beat Missouri. They also had Rocket Ismail took the pump back in the Orange Bowl for Notre Dame for a touchdown, which would have beaten Colorado. It was called back due to a penalty. And if you're a Notre Dame fan, it's much like the Corey Dixon return in the 93, 94 Orange Bowl versus Florida State. Nobody still knows where that penalty was at. And Colorado ends up beating Notre Dame 10-9. So, and they still had a tie and a loss that year. And they were co-national champs with Georgia Tech that year. BYU in 84, they were in the WAC at the time. And they beat a 6-6 Michigan team in the Holiday Bowl. And because they were the only undefeated team, they won a national championship. Now, there's a national title, not taking anything away from them. I'm just saying, if you look back over the years at national champions, and all right, were they really the best team? Those are 2 of the years that are going to pop up where people might have some dispute whether they were actually the best team. And those are the 2 national championships that the Big 12 Conference can claim right now in football. And that's why I look at a conference like the Big 12 and I'm like, will you be able to keep up monetarily? I don't even know if the ACC is going to be around in 5 years, but can you keep up monetarily? Ergo, do you get left behind? And does the Big 10 and SEC, 2 things, do they separate, do their own thing? I do think they eventually do. I wonder still to this day, if you get to that point and you're looking around and it's truly about money and it's truly about the elite of the elite doing their own elite thing, do you keep a Northwestern around? Do you keep a Purdue around? Do you keep a Mississippi State around? Vanderbilt, phenomenal academic institution. Let's be real. That ain't what it's about anymore. Do you keep a Vanderbilt around? So at some point down the line, I wonder just how far this goes potentially.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's kind of sad. I mean, we're already there with Oregon State and Washington State trying to recover, trying to put something together in the Pac-12 there, but it's never going to be the Power 4. And so, it's just interesting. And I agree with you. I mean, I keep going back to whenever people kind of bring up, okay, the ACC's next, they're going to start taking away from them. It's like, okay, if they do that, then college sports as we know it is over. Because the Big 12 is almost going to have to, you can't go into these playoff discussions with the Big 12. I mean, the Big 12 at a clear disadvantage as the other 2 conferences. So it's just going to change everything. I can't fathom what's next or kind of what it's going to look like. As we predicted for years, it's going to end up being the Big 12 and the SEC, AFC, and NFC type of situation. But kind of getting there is kind of the interesting part. I think from here, and the Big 12 is going to keep throwing their punches that they can, but yeah, unfortunately, I think they're probably on borrowed time in some way, and maybe those schools make it. Maybe as we talk about, maybe it does become 2 giant conferences, and you can start taking from those teams too. But there are going to be those on the outside, and like you said, that could be already feel like they're safe right now because they're in one of those conferences.
I think most things will keep a somewhat steady course. There's going to be some changes and some seismic shifts here and there just because that's what college sports is. But I think the gargantuan changes that we're talking about potentially coming, which I do think are coming, could be wrong. 2031, the Big 10 TV deal is up. The SEC TV deal is up. ACC actually got renewed by ESPN, which I didn't know. I thought it was 50% at best that was going to happen. So most of this probably seismic shifts, probably gargantuan shifts, probably won't happen until about 2031. And that's when I expect everything to look completely different. Does Notre Dame eventually have to join a conference? And if so, not where you want them to go, where do you think they will go? Or do they get to continue to have their cake and eat it too for all of eternity?
Absolutely fascinating discussion there too, because it feels like if they're going to go somewhere, it'd be the ACC. Where I'd want them to go is the Big 10. But is the ACC going to be sustainable long enough for that to happen? Would adding Notre Dame change some of those finances to make it more plausible for the ACC to compete at least in some way and maybe kind of hang out there with the Big 12 and keep them around? So, I mean, that is the major school that's kind of out there to kind of see what happens next. But I think when you talk about eternity, right, you're like, well, sometimes they're going to have to, but I think they're going to hold on to that because they have that advantage of bringing all that money in. The reason Notre Dame's not joining any conferences is because it would hurt them financially.
Yeah, would they make $20 million last year? Like Ohio State had to split that with the Big Ten teams. Notre Dame said, thank you very much. We're just going to keep it for ourselves. If I could just keep $20 million, not have to share with 17 other people and or entities, I'd do it too. So I don't blame them. Doesn't mean I don't have to like it. I've always had this theory because they do more than, and I'm not indicting them for it. They do more than march to the beat of their own drum. Let's be honest. They just do whatever the hell they want because they can. I've always had this crazy notion that they're going to go to the Big 12. Because why in the world join the ACC in every sport but football? Why the ACC? Why not the Big 10, which geographically makes sense? Why the ACC? So I've always had this notion that the Big 12 makes some redonkulous offer to Notre Dame in an effort to just throw a Hail Mary, stay around, keep up with the Big 10 SEC. Notre Dame gets this redonkulous offer, much like they chose to do things with the ACC and not the Big 10 or even the SEC, which geographically makes just as much sense as the ACC, by the way. They go to the Big 12, and now all of a sudden the Big 12 somehow stays around and hangs around. I've always had that in the back of my mind. Now, do I think they probably end up in the Big 10? Yeah, 51% of me does, but 49% of me likes the Big 12 idea just because I like it. What say you before we go to break real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be absolutely on board, again, with anything that somewhat keeps college football as we once had it. But it is important to kind of go back on something I said earlier. It has always kind of been a change. I mean, we're kind of get used to the era that we grew up in. But as I kind of stated earlier, Oklahoma A&M did win in 1945, the coaches championship. They were 9-0, and they did that by winning the Missouri Valley Conference. Tulsa was ranked 17th that year. The other teams in the conference, Wichita, Drake, and St. Louis. So things have changed since then as well.
Remember when Minnesota won 3 straight national titles? I think it was like 1934, 35, 36.
Yeah.
3 straight national. They were a blue blood at the time. That was pre-PJ Fleck, Mr. Ankles. All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce is complicated. It affects every part of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. 1221 N Street, Lincoln. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
T-O-double-D, what's cracking?
I need your help, Snoop. I'm really sick, and I can't give up free chicken fingers on National Chicken Finger Day.
I got you. Yo, happy National Chicken Finger Day, homies and homegirls. Get you a free chicken finger with your Raising Cane's box combo on $7.27, you heard? Make it a perfect combo with a copy of my latest album, Is It a Crime? Streaming now. Happy National Chicken Finger Day to all, and to all a good bite.
Get one free chicken finger in each box combo. Purchased July 27th, 2025.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Is it time to replace your home comfort system? Call Bryant and save money in every way. Bryant provides you with solutions that save. Save big immediately with attractive rebates, and save every day with lower operating costs. Most important, though, the systems are selected to fit you. The right system, priced right, properly installed. That's the way Bryant works for you. How much can you save? Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing for a free estimate. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Hi, folks. The weather is for sure heating up, and Coppell Chevrolet GMC is following suit. The discounts are really as good as they've ever been. $14,500 off list price, or 0% financing on select new models. Folks, you heard that right. Smoking hot deals at Coppell. $14,500 off list price, or 0% APR. So take that short drive down 144th Street or at koppelcars.com. STK number G269520. All deals with trade-in and approved credit.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between, we'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
It's never too late to start protecting your company's data from cyber attacks. Your customers put their trust in you to keep their information safe from online threats. Don't let them down. Partner with Hamilton Business Technologies to get real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and experts who monitor it all for you. We care about the success of your business and the communities you serve. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Summertime is here, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? Your dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble it so it can look and perform its best. Visit their website, huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. We got a quick segment here. We've got a couple of texts that we're going to respond to shortly. One of them mentioned that Notre Dame going to the Big Ten makes the most sense. Yeah, it's made the most sense for years, which why going to the ACC makes no sense, but it's because the ACC was willing to give them everything under God's hot sun to get them to work with them. Even in 2020, they said, hey, come play football with us for a year, play in our conference championship game, and then go do your own thing again. Notre Dame wants the best deal they can get not to be in the conference that makes the most sense, which is why the Big 12 has always been intriguing to me, because I just anticipate the ACC not being around at some point. And it's the Big 10, SEC, and the Big 12 making a big swing for Notre Dame. And Notre Dame doing what they did with the ACC and saying, all right, we might just come work with you if we have to join a conference. But you had a couple other texts real quick. What you got?
Yeah, I was gonna say if they do that, I mean, they might be coming in and saying, "Hey, we're gonna take 40% of the revenue or something like that." But who knows? Maybe that's something the Big 12 could get.
Would that be worth it for the Big 12?
It could be to keep them alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, what do we got?
But it would give more power to Notre Dame. So we'll see how that goes. Hammond Bean says, "Does Colorado's title count? It took 5 downs. To me, they are like UCF."
It should not, but it does. There's a whole lot of things about Colorado I would just like to discount in general. Unfortunately, in the record books, it does count. How? As a referee with 2 working eyes, I assume. My 9-year-old played in a baseball game. True story. Played in a baseball doubleheader. 1-up, which, by the way, is tough enough. He took his mask off. One of his eyes was swollen shut. He was calling the entire game, strikes, outs, balls, everything with one freaking eye. More power to you, and what the heck is going on? Unless you've got only half a working eye, how can you not count to 5 if you're a ref? Anyways, go ahead, Jake.
I think that's entertaining. They should do a whole league of a mostly blind ref.
Like refs don't get enough crap already, but go ahead.
1562 responding to saying you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube says, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, but if you can't afford another tube, then your teeth rot out and the whole damn system collapses, which might be the best at this point, so then they could try to rebuild it from scratch.
Hashtag dentures to save college football. Yeah, all right, you got anything before we go to break quick?
No, we better get there.
All right, don't go anywhere. Hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show, and we come back.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Don't miss the 8th Annual Wing Fest on Saturday, July 26th at Haymarket Park from 5 till 8 p.m. Local restaurants will be serving wings from 5 to 7 p.m. with live music going until 8. Ice cream and beverages will also be available for purchase, and all the proceeds from the event will go to benefit students in the local community. Get your tickets today at wingfestlincoln.com and make sure you attend the 8th Annual Wingfest at Haymarket Park on July 26th. Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to hour 2, numero dos of the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show is sponsored by our good friends at Suizo Construction, where safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back both on and off the job site. Apply today at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business. Suizo Construction. Again, that's Suizo. SCHWISOW.com. Again, it's the noon hour of this fine program. Grab your lunch. Come join us. Hour 2, the noon hour, is also brought to you by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue. The next time I see you, because Big Ten Media Days is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, will be Friday. We will be on location at Mulberry's. What are you gonna get? What are you gonna eat when we're on location at Mulberry's, Jake?
I'm sure there'll be plenty of barbecue sauce involved. I might go for some ribs.
Ask me what I'm gonna eat.
What are you gonna eat?
Everything. I'm gonna eat it all. Like, I freaking love Mexican food. Breakfast and barbecue. Like, those are my top 3 favorite. I like pizza. I like certain other things. But if you're going to ask me my favorite, it depends on the quality of each independent item. Like, Mulberry's is top quality barbecue, but like in no particular order, it's barbecue, Mexican, breakfast food. I think I may have told you this in the past. When I was growing up, I think it was going into my sophomore year of high school. Around the time I started to start driving, my parents said, you need to start learning how to cook on your own. One day, you're not going to be in this house. So every Sunday night, I was responsible for cooking Sunday night dinner. Now, personally, at that point in time, I love barbecue the best. But as far as actually cooking something, I needed to start with something a little bit simpler. So the last 3 years of high school, I always did breakfast for dinner every single Sunday night. Even when Solich and Darlington, who were recruiting me, George Darlington, Coach Solich, they came to our house. They would happen to be there on a Sunday. They freaking ate my cornbread and runny eggs and hash browns and everything. So they actually ate it, and they actually pretended to like it, I think.
Can't mess it up too bad, can you?
So you want to know the first dinner? Okay, this is terrible. But you want to know the first thing I ever ate on my own at Nebraska? So I arrive on campus. Well, I can tell the story about the first 2 weeks I arrived on campus another time. I stayed with somebody. I should clarify, this is the first time I was off campus on my own, not at the dorms. Because when I stayed with Justin Smith, sometimes he would like do something, former defensive end from Texas. I haven't seen that guy in years. I'd love to run into him again at some point. He was so kind to me my first couple of weeks here. But going into after my true freshman year, the year I redshirted, going into my redshirt freshman year, I stayed in a house with non-football players, so to speak. And so they weren't there all summer. It's just me in the house by myself. The first meal I had that summer, you're going to find out I really love bacon. I got a whole package of bacon, whatever it is, the 30 pieces or whatever.
Yeah.
Put all 30 pieces on a plate. And I put that in the oven. And dude, I tried to like maximize all the grease and keep it in and everything. And when it was done, I had 30 pieces of bacon for my first meal on my own at the house. I remember eating it in the basement by myself, watching a WWE pay-per-view at the time.
Oh, what a life.
Dude, I thought it was the greatest thing ever, man. It was the greatest thing ever. Almost as good, honestly, as Mulberry Barbecue. I can't wait to go there this Friday, get to meet them, get to know them, and eat some of their great barbecue. All right, again, Mulberry Barbecue now with 2 locations at 11th and Cornhusker at 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations, again, they have 2 locations. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burnt-end sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, full slab of ribs, a half-smoked chicken, and much, much more, plus incredible sides. I might just get each and every single one of those items on Friday, Jake. You're going to have to do a whole lot of talking because I'm going to do a whole lot of chewing. I'm just warning you, my friend. I get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located again at 11th and Cornhusker and at 61st and Apples Way, just off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. All right. Let's see here. All right. We got Heinrich Haarberg. I think he's going to do really well at tight end. Genuinely do. And Emmett Johnson I think he's really going to shine at running back. There's a couple of reasons for all of this. Let's start off with Haarberg. He's one of the more intriguing guys to talk about. Anytime you go from quarterback to tight end, anytime you have the best top end speed of anybody on the team. Now, at the Husker games, it was Ja'Cory Barney that won the speed race. But when you talk about top end speed, we're talking a little bit longer distance. Okay, and I think it was like low to mid 20s. I forget his exact speed. And number 2 is Dawson Merritt at the time. Now, this was back during the winter, so maybe things have changed since then. I haven't gotten any updated numbers. When you have the fastest top end speed, and you're one of the fastest guys on the team, period, regardless of length of race that you're involved in, and you're 240, 245 pounds, 6'5", and the coaches just call you a football player. And then you transition to tight end. And I remember I did an update on Haarberg at one point during the offseason, and I was told that a year ago, because as we know, he was on the punt protection team at times, and the defenses would yell, fake, 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 fake. They never actually had a fake for Haarberg. There was no fake punt ever put in. They just wanted to find a way to get him on the field because he's a football player. Now, why there wasn't a fake, I think there should have been a fake, but that just tells you they were trying to get him on the field. He was doing linebacker drills at one point in time with Tony White. Like, he's just a football player. You find ways to get a guy like that, an athlete like that, and if you watch him run, he's a physical runner. You watched him block in the Pinstripe Bowl. A lot of it was not, in a three-point stance, okay? A lot of it was out of the slot and whatnot, but you got to start somewhere. And when you watch him, he sure looked good blocking. The biggest key to blocking, you got to have inside hand placement, low pad level, good feet, good drive. You got to have the will. The guy has a physical mindset. The number one key to blocking is having a physical mindset and wanting to do so. So when you look at the physical attributes point of view, Haarberg has got them. When you look at, hey, this guy's a football player, we got to get him on the field point of view, he's got that as well. We know that because the coaches are trying to find ways to get him on the field. All right, he's going to play tight end. It's great he's 6'5", he's got all this speed, yada, yada, yada. Will the guy play physical? He has a physical mindset. So when you look at Lindenmeyer, I view Lindenmeyer as one of my favorite guys on the team, first and foremost. You see him as a workhorse, a guy who's going to line up, do things the right way, know what to do, know where to go, not going to be a whole lot of mental bust. He's going to be a good blocker. What complements that? What complements that is someone who can do everything I've already listed and aforementioned when it comes to Lindenmeyer and Haarberg, but someone whose greatest strength may be what he can do with the ball in the open field once he gets it, once he catches it. And it's been mentioned to me, and we've talked about the lack of a fullback now. Again, things have evolved and changed quite a bit in college football since Rule got here, with Husker football since Rule got here, with Rule's approach, because he's looked around and said, hey, we got to adapt if we truly want to get better and have success. So I commend him for that. You look at Haarberg, because it's been mentioned to me they may use more 12 personnel than we realize. We talk about the 3 main wide receivers, so 13 personnel without a fullback is absolutely an option. But when you got Lindenmeyer and you got Haarberg, maybe there's a lot more 12 personnel. I've always liked 12 personnel because you create that extra gap. You have the extra hand in the dirt. You got a balanced line, or you can go heavy, 2 tights to one side. or you can motion somebody. You can do whatever you want to do with it. But if you just go balance 12 sets, you got a back in the a back offset or behind the quarterback. Easy for me to say. You got 2 wide receivers split out, and then 2 tight ends. If you just go the balance 12 set, you create an extra gap for the defense. I'll tell you right now, as the defensive end, every time they ever did that, we would have to do a stick call where I would, because you create that extra gap, there's a hole, you spread the defense out, so to speak. This isn't high school or middle school football where you got like a 4-4. Like you're a 4-3 with a couple of safeties. So either you got to bring that safety down in the box, which leaves a hole, leaves you not a hole, but a little bit more susceptible in the pass game because now you got 8 guys in the box. So obviously you're light in the pass defense. Or you're going to have a hole open up front with that extra hand in the dirt, the extra gap that's created with the extra man on the line of scrimmage with 2 tight ends. So I hated that because I would always get a stick call, which meant I had to stun inside. Any defensive end wants to be able to go around the edge. There's just more space, more room, more things you can do, more fun you can have. But that would always force the outside linebacker to make an adjustment, and it would make everything adjust on our whole entire defense due to the extra gap. And then it's unpredictable which way you're going to go because everything's so balanced. Now, you can go heavy. You can put guys in motion. You can do whatever you want. But if you're balanced, it makes it very hard for the defense to read what you're going to do. At that point, you're looking at, all right, this back's in the backfield. They tend to run the ball. Or this wide receiver's off the ball. If he's the one off the line of scrimmage and not on, sometimes there's certain tendencies, things of that nature. But I think Haarberg is a football player. I think he has a real potential of playing on Sundays. He has the physical attributes. You look at how often, I'm not saying he's Travis Hunter, but you look at how often they used Travis Hunter a year ago and how often they didn't use Haarberg. And I know it's not the perfect comparison, but you find ways to get your best players, your best athletes on the field. And I think that's what Holgerson's going to try to do this year. And I think one of the biggest beneficiaries is going to be Heinrich Haarberg and what he can do. And a guy who can get him the ball at a quarterback with Dalen Raiola and an offensive coordinator who's going to use him again like a chess piece. I'm still curious to see what they're going to do with Carter Nelson, who has clearly been in the weight room, by the way, if you've seen him lately. Dana Holgerson is going to find ways to get the ball to Heinrich Haarberg. And we're going to talk about Emmett Johnson here in a little bit. I'll just give it away. My one concern with Emmett Johnson. It's everybody's concern. What does the depth in that running back room look like? What's the workload going to be? Okay. Can he stay healthy the entire year? Obviously, I want him to be healthy. Everyone wants him to be healthy. But how can we let Emmett Johnson be the running back, the threat out of the backfield, the all-around back that he is, without putting too much on his plate? Well, it's by getting the ball to guys like Dane Key, Ja'Cory Barney, Heinrich Haarberg, etc. And there's more guys I can name. But if you try to name everybody, you leave somebody out, somebody gets upset. You get the point. I think Heinrich Haarberg is one of those guys you can put all over the field. And I still love the idea of having him go in at wildcat quarterback from time to time, short yardage goal line, especially if you're not going to use a fullback. I think he's a great read option quarterback. He's a great option as a read option quarterback in short yardage goal line. Although we did have someone, I forget who it was, because we talked about the fullback and the lack thereof last week. They're like, why do you need a fullback when you can just put a defensive tackle at fullback and break someone's soul or something like that? So that's another option as well. I just think he's the guy that can do so many different things. He didn't transfer. How many guys in his position win 5 games? You're not the starting quarterback the next year. You're not even on the field that much. Let's be real. They didn't seem to know what exactly to do with him. He didn't go anywhere. He's still here. How rare is that? That tells you his approach, his mentality, what his priorities are. And I think as tough as last year must have been, it had to have been tough on him. I think he's going to reap the rewards and the benefits this year. I'm not declaring him like a preseason All-American or first-team All-Big Ten, but it would not surprise me if he's one of these surprise names for the conference of the Big Ten this fall in football. What say you, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, he's among the most fascinating men on the team, certainly. And you want to see kind of what they're going to do with him. I think because of the reasons you laid out, single-digit number, just give it to him because he's earned that as far as a teammate. And it's not just that, it's the day and the age of quarterbacks. He's got 3 Big Ten wins. I've been saying all offseason, I think a MAC school might pick him up. Now, you got to run a little bit of different offense like we know with him. But, I mean, you got 3 Big Ten wins. That's not something, that's something that could be pretty valuable in the transfer portal. Yet he decided to stick around. And so we'll kind of see how it turns out, how it looks. I thought he looked pretty good in the bowl game. You've mentioned his kind of physicalness there. I'm interested also to see if he's more of an every down player. it would be such a headache if your defensive coordinator is seeing that guy in motion.
Oh, yeah.
Because you just don't know what's coming next. When they did it last year, at times it was like, okay, he's on the field, look out for something. And they tried several times to kind of get him to pass the ball or get some kind of wacky play in there. But I think if he's out on the field, more often, then that one can really throw off the defense. So I think he's just going to be fascinating. We'll see, like you said, kind of maybe going to share with Lindenmeyer a little bit there. Maybe they run more two tight ends out there. We'll have to see. He does kind of fits the H-back role, as you're pointing out. But I with all the potential that he has to take the risk and say, I'm going to make it as a tight end at the University of Nebraska, and that's how I'm going to try to get my route to the NFL, rather than say, hey, I can cash in, go be a starting quarterback. It might not be the height of what you're going to get in the NFL, but I still get to play quarterback. A lot of guys would like to do that. Just really lets you know he's a selfless player, but not just selfless, believes in himself and believes in his athletic ability to gamble on himself to be able to do this.
That's a great point. Not only is it selfless, he's legit gambling on himself. So a lot of folks out there are business owners, okay? It is exhilarating and it is terrifying all at the same time when you start a new business. As someone who has started a business on our own, done things on our own, it is 10 to 20 to 30 times the amount of work. And it can be scary, to a degree at least. You look at Haarberg, this is probably the riskiest route he could have taken. Maybe transferring to another Big Ten school or something like that, depending on what they were going to do with him and what the school was. But like you said, he could have gone the transfer portal, been the starting quarterback. Maybe not even just MAC, AAC type school might have picked him up or something like that. Like, you never know. This guy has 5 wins, 3 wins in the Big Ten as a starting quarterback. Not a lot of guys out there that are currently playing college football can say that. He chose to stay. And to your point, that takes a lot of belief in oneself, one's ability, and honestly, a lot of trust in the coaches that they're going to actually say, how can we utilize what this guy brings to the table? There's clearly been lengthy conversations with Coach Rule. I assume Holgerson, the other coaches in that coaching staff, Satterfield, the tight ends coach. Like, how is this going to look? Obviously, things have to be earned. We'll see how things unfold as we go along. But from a starting position, what does this look like? There has to be a lot of belief in himself and a certain amount of trust in the coaches as well. I think you make another interesting point, and I don't want to gloss over it. How often is he on the field? Because we kind of project Dillon, Emmett, Dane Key, Isaiah Hunter, maybe Ja'Cory Barney as a starting wide receiver, Lindenmeyer. I mean, Haarberg's not a starting offensive lineman. So depending on if they're in 13 personnel, 12, maybe they go 14, whatever it is, short yardage, goal line, what do they do with him? But how often is he on the field? Is he an every down type player? If it's not every down, it's not the end of the world. How often is he out there? What are they doing with him? Where are they moving him? And how can they utilize him? Those are going to be things that are very intriguing to me to watch and see how this unfolds, much like Carter Nelson. And there's a guy we've not talked about anywhere near enough. Mark McWay, who's coming back from an injury, just talking about tight ends right now, who's coming back from an injury, who was one of the top recruits in the entire country, highly recruited to LSU. Now he's back. He's healthy. He's projected to be ready to go. And it's just like, this guy's kind of, I don't want to say, I'm going to put it like this. He's not talked about as much as his talent might adhere him being worthy of being talked about due to the other guys in the room. Wow, that was quite a way to put that. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because I want to show him respect, but I also want to respect the other guys in the room. And there's a lot of question marks. Right now, we don't know how to put certain things. That's one of the things that's most intriguing about August 28th, Kansas City Arrowhead versus Cincinnati. How does all this look? How does all this come together? Last December with the transfer portal and signing day was one of the most, as much as I miss, and I think it's starting to go back the way it was, regular recruiting, because recruiting didn't feel as important because, well, the guy's going to be gone a year or two anyway. So why do I invest time if this guy's not going to be here? Either because he didn't play or because he did play and he gets a better offer. That seems to be changing a little bit. But one of the positive side effects of that is the transfer portal became insanely entertaining. Last December was insanely entertaining with all these additions that we were bringing in and who we bringing in and who can impact now and where are they coming from. Key to Hunter, to Spindler, which took a little bit longer, to Marquez Watson-Tread, Dawson McCullough, Williams and Warren. It's just like, that was an exciting time. All right, we got the pieces to the puzzle. How do they fit together? And Haarberg is one of those pieces. And I'm just curious to see how it all comes together. I don't know. Obviously, the season opener every year, everyone looks forward to it. Looks forward to it a ton. It's been a while since I've looked forward to a season opener as much as I'm looking forward to Cincinnati from the puzzle pieces and how do they look when they come together perspective. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It because the offense has so much potential. If everything kind of works, then you kind of got depth at all these places. As we know, it doesn't necessarily go that way, but then it kind of goes back to, like I said, I mean, it feels like there's a lot of potential there, but also feels like that there's that one big question that you brought up earlier, is that could all that potential be kind of taken down if you don't have a solid run game if Emmett Johnson goes down? So it's still, I mean, they clearly believe in the running backs in the room because they didn't go, outside of Sharmar Brown, they didn't really go after anybody. So they don't have this overwhelming fear of it, but it's interesting too, because you can kind of get different senses and different coaches are going to feel, different ways. You want to have one statement about it as a team, and Matt Rule can take care of that. But I've heard some different things like, well, okay, well then who is the number 2 back? Are you still fighting for it? And if you're still fighting for who the number 2 back is, do you have a guy that, is it two or three guys you really believe in, or do you have a guy there that's not going to quite take that? So, man, I still feel like, with bringing up Haarberg and Johnson, I mean, I think these are kind of the biggest question marks. There's talent there. It's just kind of, what does it look like?
What do we have off the text line there, Jake, before we go to break?
Let's see. So Brad from Baldwin was saying that kind of using Haarberg like Tyson Hill. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Sorry, say that again.
Like Tyson Hill. Is that where you kind of think of Haarberg here?
Yes. I hesitate. Yes, I hesitate because Taysom Hill's 207, and he was a quarterback coming out of college. I see Haarberg. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I see him more as a pure football player, whereas I always saw Taysom Hill as more of a position player who could move around on the skill type player. Like I see Haarberg as a guy who legit can block, and not that Taysom Hill couldn't. Yes, but with a little bit more physicality, which I actually think gives way to him maybe being on the field even a little bit more potentially. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gus Ballhawk also says he heard that one of the wide receivers might move to the running back room. Do you guys know who it is? Have you heard anything about it?
We've heard a couple of things about it, rumors and innuendo, even seen some things that seem like solid reporting so far anyways. I haven't confirmed anything. So don't be surprised if it happens, but we haven't talked about it a ton here. Just haven't confirmed anything just yet officially.
And 0778 says, Adam, what's more scary, snakes or starting your own business?
How dare you? How dare you? Actually, I appreciate that they clearly watch the show or listen to the show day after day. Now I actually have to take this as a serious question, even though I know it's not. In fairness, okay. In fairness, when we went on our own, it had already been around for 7 years. I'm talking about my other show that I do. It'd been around for 7 years. We started it on its own. Then it went with another entity actually been around for 9 years. We started it on our own, went with another entity for 7 years, and then went back on our own. So when I started it initially, it wasn't something like I was just like, I love talking Nebraska football. We'll see where this goes. So in fairness, it wasn't how you typically start a business. It probably wasn't as stressful. It's probably more stressful when we went back out on our own, and I felt like we had to start over. So I'm going to go with snakes, especially the little bitty earthworm ones, my friend.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
That's it for now.
Someone texted me, Andy Jurassic said Heinrich Haarberg is more like Tyler Warren. I could actually see that. Now, I don't know that he's as good. We got to see him be as good. Tyler Warren's the best tight end in America. Okay. But I know he wasn't the highest drafted, but he was the best in college football. We saw him play quarterback. We saw him play center and then catch a pass against USC. We saw him play tight end. We saw him play receiver. We saw him go all over the place. Can Haarberg snap? If he could, where was he last year?
That's right. Yeah, probably not.
I actually like that comparison a little bit more.
Yeah,
I see him a little bit more to Tyler Warren. Just got to see how good Haarberg is this year. The potential is there, but Tyler Warren was the best in America last year. Okay, and it does seem as though Isaiah Mosey has moved to running back. is, I believe, who they were kind of indicating there. It seems that way. And here's a fun fact. Mac Markway is the highest rated tight end on Nebraska in the 2026 college football game with a rating of 81.
Oh, wow. Do they know something we don't?
Do they know something we don't? That is interesting, though, because everyone projects Lindenmeyer to be the starter. Haarberg's the next most talked about tight end. Don't forget about Macway. Does he surprise people? And then there's Carter Nelson. Again, this is why the pieces to the puzzle. And outside of Macway, none of these guys transferred in. So then you've got the actual transfers. Outside, even outside of the guys we're talking about right now, all these transfer portal guys, how do the pieces to the puzzle come together? And we come back, let's dive into that conversation a little bit about Emmett Johnson.
It's never too late to start protecting your company's data from cyber attacks. Your customers put their trust in you to keep their information safe from online threats. Don't let them down. Partner with Hamilton Business Technologies to get real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and experts who monitor it all for you. We care about the success of your business and the communities you serve. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Hi, folks. The weather is for sure heating up, and Koppel Chevrolet GMC is following suit. The discounts are really as good as they've ever been. $14,500 off list price, or 0% financing on select new models. Folks, you heard that right. Smoking hot deals at Koppel. $14,500 off list price, or 0% APR. So take that short drive down 144th Street or at koppelcars.com. STK number G269520. All deals with trade-in and approved credit.
Looking to upgrade your equipment and keep cash in your pocket? Through July at Landmark Implement, get up to a 24-month waiver on select John Deere tractors and combines, or lock in 1.9% fixed rate for 36 months, followed by 5.8 fixed for another 36 months. When planning for this year's harvest, we've got a solution that works for your bottom line. Visit your Landmark Implement today and check us out at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Don't miss the 8th Annual Wing Fest on Saturday, July 26th at Haymarket Park from 5 till 8 p.m. Local restaurants will be serving wings from 5 to 7 p.m. with live music going until 8. Ice cream and beverages will also be available for purchase, and all the proceeds from the event will go to benefit students in the local community. Get your tickets today at wingfestlincoln.com and make sure you attend the 8th Annual Wingfest at Haymarket Park on July 26th.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC. The 2026 Love Omaha volleyball season is coming, and memberships are on sale now. Catch your favorite stars, Lexi Rodriguez, Jordan Larson, and more with a guaranteed 8 home matches right here in Nebraska. Season memberships start at just $112. That's unbeatable value for world-class volleyball. Don't miss a moment of the action. Go to lovb.com/season and grab yours today. That's lovb.com/season.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your County Veteran Service Officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Need service on your home air conditioner? No matter what brand you have, just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Very helpful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show is sponsored by our good friends at Suizo Construction, where safety isn't just a policy, it is a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back, both on and off the job site. Apply at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business. Suizo Construction. Again, that's SCHWISOW, Suizo.com. Also, as you know, it is the noon hour, and that means lunchtime. The lunch hour of Adam Carriker on the Ticket is sponsored by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue. Now with 2 numero dos locations at 11th and Cornhusker at 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burn-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, a full slab of ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much more. Plus incredible size. Get fuel for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker and at 61st and Apples Way, just off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Again, reminder, Jake and I will be on location. The next time I get a look at Jake's wonderful face will be Friday on location at Mulberry Barbecues. Now, I forgot to point out one thing before we move on and discuss Emmett Johnson just a smidge. Did you know that at 245, 250 pounds, 6'5", Heinrich Haarberg runs an 11.1 second 100-meter dash? Now, to be elite, you got to be like in the 10s, like world records, like 9.59, which was Usain Bolt. You look up guys that are in that category, they're like under 200 pounds. So when you start stacking on, 50, 60 pounds, running an 11.1, pretty freaking impressive. There aren't a whole lot of tight ends that can do that. All right, my man. Let's look at Emmett. And I did some quick math. So Emmett Johnson is a guy very well liked by the fans, very well liked by his teammates. I've always saw similarities in him in a way, maybe a roundabout way, but a way to myself. I always felt overlooked. I always felt, overlooked. I was leaving it at that when I first got here. And it really wasn't until, honestly, the new staff came in and that winter conditioning. I'll never forget my D-line coach was like, because we had Bernard, was going to start at one end, but we needed another end to start at the other end. And there was 2 of us sophomores. And the D-line coach said, first practice, spring practice, the number 1 defense goes out there, you're the right end. And that didn't mean I had the position. It meant I was on their radar to be a starter. And I always felt up until then, definitely overlooked. Right, unright, wrong, whatever the case may be. You look at Emmett, 4th string, ends up starting the last half of the season as a freshman and plays really well. You would have thought coming back last year, he would definitely be one of our top 2 backs, maybe the starter, whatever the case may be. Did you feel like he was one of the top 2 backs the first half of the season or 2/3 of the season till Holgerson got here?
Yeah, it seemed to be the case, yeah.
You thought he was one of the top 2 backs.
I think everybody around the station except for Terrell was trying to get him more playing time.
Well, okay. Let me restate that. Not who you thought the 2 best backs were, who you perceived the 2 backs that were getting the most play time were, is what I meant. Is that clear?
Well, it was tough because that was the argument, is because there was games where the Illinois game he didn't even get a carry, and you're just kind of like, I feel like he's, and I think it was the early game. It was, he broke off one late last year in a game early, and it was like, well, maybe that was the type of competition they were playing at that time, so they didn't like carry it over to the next game. But from a lot of people, it just looked like he was the guy that probably deserved more carries.
So in a way, I've kind of always felt a little bit similar to Emmett in the fact that maybe overlooked to a degree, or however you want to phrase that. Now coming into this year, this is the guy who is projected to be the guy. The one concern that I mentioned, I'm not alone in this. What's that running back room look like depth-wise beyond him? We know the coaches like Quentin Ives. I mean, we're going on 2, maybe 3 years now of, I can't think of another player on the team that's been randomly brought up from time to time in press conferences over the past couple of the years more often by Matt Rule than Quentin Ives. I can't think of another guy on the team. Maybe there is, but he's not popping in my head. You've got Mekhi Nelson, freshman Jahreer Parker. You got some of these guys. Obviously, Connor Booth is coming in, true freshman as well. He's more of a power back. All right, out of Wahoo there. So what's the depth look like? Who is clear-cut number 2? Is there a clear-cut number 2? Who's number 3? What does it look like? We've said a bunch of times, you got to have at least 3 backs because you got to have a rotation. What if one of them gets banged up? You still need 2, which takes 3 that you really trust. So that's the concern. So the question is, how do we get Emmett the ball? How do we utilize his skill set? But how do we manage the workload? And we talked about that a little bit earlier with getting the ball to Haarberg and Key and Hunter and Barney and whoever else you want to get it to. Lindenmeyer, who else? Whoever else, other running backs in there as well. When I look at Emmett, this is a guy that I watch, and I'm like, he can do everything pretty well. Blazing top end speed, maybe not, but good. Is there, because I can go through agility, I can go through vision. I think vision and balance are 2 of his biggest strengths. And I think it's one of the reasons he's overlooked, because you can't measure that. There's no way to measure your vision or your balance. You can measure a 40. You can measure your 20-yard shuttle and agility. You can measure your vert, which in a way is supposed to translate to your explosiveness. And it does, to a degree at least. I think a lot of the things that he does really well, like he's got good speed, he's got good agility, he's got a lot of things he's good at. I don't know if there's any one thing you point at and you're like, oh, it just blows you off the map. But I think part of that is because he's good at everything. I don't see gigantic holes in his game. Even his pass protection, is improved, and he's reliable in that department as well. You got Isaiah Mosey again, seems to have moved to running back. I don't know if anything's been confirmed yet. And, you could see, is that a concerning thing? I do think they went after the back in the portal for a reason, Jamar Brown. I do think they have moved Mosey to running back for a reason. Is it concerning? I don't think the C word concerning is necessary. I think there's a reason, though. I think there's a reason they did it. I think that's a fair thing to say. With Emmett, I think he's got the ability to do everything well. I'm not saying he's great at everything. I just don't see any big holes in his game. And 2 of the things he does the best, which are vision and balance, you can't really measure those. And I think it's part of the reason he isn't talked about more. You see these preseason running back rankings for the Big Ten and for the country. He's on the Big Ten list. I don't think he was even in the top 15 running backs in the Big Ten. Penn State had 1 and 2, by the way. I don't even think he was in the top 15 on the last list I saw, which I about fell over. I was like, really? Not even, what? That was surprising to me. This is a guy who should have 1,000 yards rushing. This is a guy who could have, depending on how many games we play, all right, up to 1,500 total yards, which would be 500 yards receiving, which would be a lot. So maybe 1,250 total yards this year is very reasonable for a guy like that. And then he's getting the ball, utilizing his skill set, but hopefully you're not putting too much so you can manage the load just a little bit, because he is the one clear proven running back that you have, and you wait and see how some of the other talented guys do as the season unfolds. And I even did some math. For him to average 1,000 yards It's 83.3333 yards per game. So assuming he misses no games, he basically needs to average almost 84 yards rushing per game, which seems very reasonable for me. And we want to average as a team, you and I talked about 150 rushing yards a game. So in order for that to happen, I think he would have to average over 90 rushing yards per game, which I do think is feasible, which would put him closer to 1,200 rushing yards. And maybe if he has 200-300 yards receiving, which he had around 250 last year, which a majority came after Holgerson became the OC in the USC game, he had almost 250 yards a year ago in much less time on the field, much less reps on the field. There is a world where he could have 1,500 total yards of offense. It's not too much on the plate as far as managing the load until we learn more about the other guys who are in that room as well as the season unfolds. And I think Emmett Johnson can really, really shine because I'm just like, you don't even have him in certain places on these preseason lists within the Big Ten, let alone nationally, and he's just being overlooked. And to a degree, I felt like he was overlooked the first couple of years here, which is why I've always been partial to him because I felt that way to a degree as well. And so for me, I think this is a guy that's just going to shine this season. Again, I'm not projecting anyone on this team to or to not be an All-American. There's guys with the talent. There's guys with all-conference type talent. There's guys with second and third string, not second and third string, but second and third team all-conference type talent. There's guys who are just really, really good football players regardless of postseason recognition. And he is one of those guys that I believe will be in those conversations at the end of the year. It's just how deep does that conversation go? Can we make sure he gets through the whole year healthy? And this is a guy I think is going to shine and finally get his just due. He's gotten it a little bit, entered the portal, got him to come back. And I think that brought some attention and eyeballs to him that frankly was deserved at that point. But now going forward, hopefully that is focused on what he does on the field because I think that's where he's really going to shine this upcoming season.
Yeah, I still look at him too as Nebraska until they find a guy or somebody who proves otherwise. He's their big play threat. And to your point, he might not have the top end speed to make it, 60, 70 yards. I mean, but you look at just about every game he played in, he's getting, plays over 20 yards. And Nebraska just doesn't have a whole lot of guys that were doing that routinely last year. So I think that's a big part of it. And also to your point, 23 of the 39 receptions he had last year were in those final 4 games. So again, his usage rate went up considerably once they made the change at offensive coordinator. So there's a lot of excitement and potential within him, and it's almost like they're finally, instead of saying, okay, well, this guy can do this better, or this guy maybe can do that better, maybe there's more potential there. It's just take your jack of all trades and Emmett Johnson and use him for what he is. And hopefully, if there are some other pieces that step up, then maybe he can break those out a little bit more. We'll have to see. As far as preseason recognition, maybe part of that, and we know how it was. He wasn't the big back. The big back got the goal line carries. He only had 1 rushing touchdown last year, 3 total. So I think that kind of holds him back on all of these preseason.
Well, we talked about, Dylan Raiola. There's high expectations in Nebraska for him, but last week we talked about nationally, maybe not as much. Part of that, more expectations comes with more wins. So we got to get those wins if you want the postseason recognition. And if you're interested, like we are, when you got a show like this, projecting into the next college football season, the preseason expectations, so to speak. All right, is there anything off the text line before we go to break there, Jake?
Yeah, 26260 says Emmett was definitely underutilized last year. That coming from Wyoming Husker. One other thought that I have here is just kind of thinking the comfortability of this is it's not just if you have one backup, right? Is because I keep going back to this is the same staff, same running back, same running back coach, same head coach that 2 years ago lost 2 players on the same day, your top 2 running backs. So it's almost not just like you need one or you need one good backup. You do need to kind of have a few of them because the injury bug can certainly strike. And hopefully that doesn't happen. The other thing, though, is I think, and this is just a Nebraska thing, but the last time I had some high hopes for a running back coming off a positive season, they haven't turned out great, right? Anthony Grant coming off that almost 1,000-yard season. New coaching staff wasn't the same. I think back to Jedrick Mills. Looked like he was really going to start taking off going into his senior season. Didn't quite happen. So hopefully we're due.
Well, there's no hopefully about it. We are definitely due. Excuse me. We are definitely due. One thing I do like, everybody gets wowed by the big plays and the top end speed, but I would go to Donovan Edwards of Michigan last year, a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, a guy who had noticeably better speed than Blake Corum. Blake Corum graduates. Donovan's supposed to be the guy. He didn't even start last year. I don't know why. I don't know enough about the situation. What I know is he has phenomenal top-end speed. He showed it several times while he was Blake's backup, even when he started when Blake got hurt his knee. But when it came time for him to be the guy, despite that, he wasn't the guy. So there's something that goes into being a running back beyond just top-end amazing speed. And those are some of the intangibles that I see in Emmett. You talk about his ability to get 20 yards. If somebody said, hey, could you have a guy that can take the top off? Would you rather have a guy who can take a top off a defense with 60, 70, 80-yard plays, but he only does it once every, I don't want to say only, but once every other game or something? Or would you rather have a guy that has a knack for turning a 5-yard run into a 10-yard run and a 10-yard run, like you said, into a 15-yard run or a 10-yard reception into a 20-yard reception and consistently makes an impact, consistently affects the defense, and consistently is moving the chains? I would take that guy, and that guy to me is Emmett Johnson. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
The 2026 Love Omaha volleyball season is coming, and memberships are on sale now. Catch your favorite stars, Lexi Rodriguez, Jordan Larson, and more with a guaranteed 8 home matches right here in Nebraska. Season memberships start at just $112. That's unbeatable value for world-class volleyball. Don't miss a moment of the action. Go to lovb.com/season and grab yours today. That's lovb.com/season.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Need service on your home air conditioner? No matter what brand you have, just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Hi, folks. The weather is for sure heating up, and Coppell Chevrolet GMC is following suit. The discounts are really as good as they've ever been. $14,500 off list price, or 0% financing on select new models. Folks, you heard that right. Smoking hot deals at Coppell. $14,500 off list price, or 0% APR. So take that short drive down 144th Street or at CoppellCars.com. STK number G269520. All deals with trade-in and approved credit.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. We have people sending us pictures of gigantic pythons that they're holding. It doesn't feel very complimentary towards yours truly. How do you take that there, Jake?
Yeah, they're just showing, hey, I'm a man. I can hold a giant snake, but I'm with you, though. I wouldn't hold that thing. This thing, somebody texted one in, and this is, I don't know, maybe like 9-10 feet long.
Like, it's probably as long as the corner of this room is to that corner of that room. Like, it's actually a pretty impressive photo. It's actually very cool. There's a python joke out there waiting to be made, but Jake told me I couldn't say it on air. I said it in between breaks, so we'll hold on to that one. All right. And Taysom Hill, by the way, is listed at 6'2", 221 pounds. So I don't know where I got 207 from. I guess the DeMario Williams weight sticks with me to this day. But I still see Haarberg a little, like I see Taysom as a little bit more finesse than Haarberg, and Haarberg a little bit. He also, another 30 pounds on him, maybe a little bit more physicality to him as well.
I do have a DeMario Williams question because myself and Rashawn have gone back and forth on. He thinks that he should be, like, if we're thinking about all-time linebackers, he should be thought of more as a pass rusher. I said, yeah, he did put his hand in the dirt and he did go get some sacks, but he also had like 128 tackles. He was a stand-up linebacker as well.
Well, I think of him as a linebacker first.
Right.
Like, he's a great linebacker who could also rush the quarterback. To say that, first of all, why try to put somebody in a box? If somebody can do more in one thing, why try to put him in one box? Like, he was a linebacker that could rush the quarterback. That's what he was.
It goes back to Trev Albert's discussion of, like, who's the best linebacker at Nebraska, and he'll say, well, that's a pass rusher. That's not a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
He was more, but I said, like, DeMario, that was different. He would, on like third downs, put his hand in the dirt, but more often than not, he was a stand-up linebacker.
Yeah, I see Trev Alberts as more of a pass rusher. It depends on the style of they ran a different style of defense back then as well. So even if you're standing up, you may be more of a pass rusher, DN type. DeMario Williams was brought in as a linebacker. He played as a linebacker. We needed help rushing the quarterback. And so we said, hey, try this guy. He's undersized, but insanely fast and tough. Let's see what he can do. And he went out and he got a sack or two versus Oklahoma State, the game we talked about. Our last Power 4 Game 1 win against a ranked Power 4 team was 2003. And that was kind of him showing the world that he could get after the quarterback. No, I see him as a linebacker first, but a guy where we had a need. They said, DeMario, can you do this? He gave it a try, and he could also rush the quarterback. That's how I would quantify him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I appreciate it because that's more on my side.
And that's all that matters, ladies
I
and
just
gentlemen.
wanted to win.
All right. Arkansas wide receiver Monte Harrison turns 30 on August 10th. Now, he was drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers to play pro baseball back in 2014. He was originally committed to play football at Nebraska out of high school. All right. Did not use any of his eligibility as a football player. Instead, he opted to play professional baseball for the Milwaukee Brewers, drafted 2014. All right. Nearly 10 years later, he is committed to play football at the University of Arkansas, joining the Razorbacks as a walk-on beginning back in the 2024 season. So the question is, should there be an age limit on college football players? He technically never used any eligibility in college, so he can come back and play. Now, there was a day and age where if you accepted any sort of money, any sort of professional type payment, you could not come back and play college sports as an amateur. Those days have done and gone for obvious reasons. So he is back at the age of 30. He's playing wide receiver at Arkansas. Do you think there should be an age limit on college football players or in college sports in general?
I think there probably should be. I mean, I think that there's and I don't know what it would be. Like at some point you get like, 32 or something. That's kind of getting up there. I mean, we all know the Chris Winkie and Brandon Whedon stories. And so, we've seen some success stories in the past, but I don't know. It does feel a bit strange when you're 30 something and you're competing against 20 something year olds. I mean, because your body at that point is supposed to be kind of at its peak, right? So how's that fair to the rest of the college students who are still growing into their bodies?
Remember Jeremy Bloom, the Colorado wide receiver, and the skier? And there was a whole deal. He went and skied in the Olympics, and then this was back when you could not receive payment to come back and play. That was a big ordeal. I wonder what Jeremy Bloom thinks of something like this now. I personally, one more question before I get my final thoughts before we get out of here. My dad, growing up, always thought BYU had an advantage. Okay, simply because they'd go on a Mormon mission, they'd be gone for 2 years, they'd come back, and they'd be 2 years more mature as human beings as a freshman. And so instead of being 22 as a senior, you're now 24, 25. He always felt like that was an advantage. Yeah. Okay, and so that was something that always kind of stuck with me. Now we've got a guy who's 30, probably a sophomore or maybe a redshirted a year ago. I'd have to do more recon on him. I don't really care about the age limit because everything's so crazy right now. Why put limits on age? Just go through straight eligibility. Plus, the better players we can get in college football, the better the product's going to be. And as long as everyone has the same, let's say, ability to try to recruit these guys or same opportunity to recruit these guys, because not everything's equal, but the opportunities should be the same, I got no problem with it. I kind of like it. I'm rooting for this guy, and I hope he does well.
I'm rooting for him because he was once a Husker or signed on to be.
Or he never chose to actually play with us, and now you want to hold it against him. Where are you at on this, Jake?
Yeah, maybe I should go that route.
You don't seem very convicted in that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, have a glorious Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll see you fine folks at Mulberry's Barbecue on Friday. Go Big Red, and always remember to throw the bugs.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us